It's your host, Kingmaly. I want to say thank y'all for joining Original Guys Worldwide TV. And in this episode, I want to talk about how, as black people, we got to start thinking for ourselves. We can't allow people to think for us. We were taught to think in negative ways, irrational ways. We were taught to be disrespectful towards one another because of the environments we grow up in, the family we grow up around, and things of that nature. But the reality of it is, we can't allow the way we was raised in those negative ways continue to hold us back when we get older. When you get older, it's important for you to see life differently. You gotta realize that the way you was taught wasn't the right way to be taught. And what you understand in that, you gotta put a new program in your mind. You gotta be more positive, or you gotta have a more positive outlook on life, or you gotta be the energy you want to see or seek in life. A lot of times in our community, black people will complain about all these issues, but those issues won't change if you don't be the change you seek, or you don't be the energy you seek in life. Even with me, a lot of times people be like, how do you be so positive? How do you um have this good outlook all the time? But the reality of it is, I be reflecting a lot. I realize that the program that's been passed down to me is wrong, and I got to implement a new program so I can be the change I seek in my life. That's why I'm trying to speak life into people. That's why I be trying to speak positive, or that's why I just um do different things outside of the norm for black people or our people in general, or the people that come up in our communities, because I want them to see that we can be different, we can live different, we can think different, and we can move that's in a way that's of progression for ourselves. And a lot of people, even when it comes to the FBA, Pan African things of that nature, like, I'm foundational Black American, but I'm also Pan African. A lot of people be like, we ain't African, we ain't from Africa. You can't be African if you FBA and da 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 da. But some people that are in America, that's black people who's been here for a while, did come from Africa. Either they from the people who migrated from Africa. Our life started from Africa. Some people migrated from Africa to America. They say black people were indigenous to America. Okay. I feel like black people are indigenous to America as well, but I wouldn't say that they didn't come from Africa. You see what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong, it's so much information out there. It's a lot of information out there. You know what I mean? We all heard so many stories. You know what I'm saying? So me, the way I look at things, I be trying to formulate my own thought process about all this information that's out here, so black people can be more united, but also each black person, no matter where they at, can preserve their own culture. As foundational Black Americans, we have to preserve our heritage, lineage, and culture. You know, especially when it comes to all the different things we export, like our music, our inventions, our creativity, our slang, our swag. We have to hold on to that because that's intimate to us. And Africans on the continent, they have to preserve their culture. Jamaicans preserve their culture. Haitians preserve their culture. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. The black people in Barbados, they have to preserve their culture. So I'm saying all that to say is, we don't have to let go of the cultures we come from to assimilate with all black people. And that's the problem with us as a people. We expect other black people to let go of who they are to be accepted in certain groups. Nah, man, you can be who you are and be where you from. That's the point we got to get to as a people. We have to we have to get to a point where we accepting black people for just who they are and where they come from. We all not gonna agree on nothing. We ain't gonna all agree on the same thing. But at the same time, we up against a bigger enemy. And with us knowing that we up against the bigger enemy, we gotta be radical in our thought as it pertains to our approach to each other, as it pertains to unifying each other, working together with each other. We gotta be radical with it and realize, like, we got these many different factions of black people. And it's like, we shouldn't neglect black people or shun black people or Africans or Jamaicans or whatever the case may be, because they got different cultures or different backgrounds. That's playing in the same. That's doing being the same way as the European. See what I'm saying? So I'm also saying all that to say is that's why I am the way I am. Because you got these FBA people, you got these Pan African people, and they going to war at each other. They arguing back and forth. They arguing back and forth. It's like that's why I say it's important for you to think for yourself, or it's for us important for us as Black people to think for ourselves. Because just because FBA and Pan African going to war, that don't mean that I have to be in that dumb war, or I have to go along with that FBA versus African narrative. Nah, I'm foundational Black American because that's the lineage I'm connected to, the heritage I come from, and my lineage come from America. We from America, but at the same time, some of my people, at the same time, that's not to say some of us don't come from Africa. So what I'm saying, not to say is, we've been through a lot as a people. You know what I mean? So the fact that we've been through a lot is the fact that we've been through so much, and we've been taught wrong, and a lot of times we think wrong as well because of the way we've been taught. And change won't happen overnight. It takes time. The most important part is just thinking for yourself. It's beauty in thinking for yourself, because when you think for yourself, you allow other people to start thinking for themselves, so they can be more liberated and free within themselves. There's no freedom on the outside of you if you don't have a free mind. You have to have a free mind to have a free life. How you expect to have a free life if you don't got a free mind, man? Y'all gotta get out of these thought patterns that's been passed down to y'all, whether it be by social media, your family, your friends. How do you think as a person, you in particular, you watching this? What makes sense to you? What is your soul calling you to be? What does the higher calling of your conscience call you to be? Not the program that's been put into you. I'm talking about when you first wake up, or just those good ideals and good thoughts you have about where you want to go, about where you're trying to get. That's what you should be validating. That's what you should be valuing. You shouldn't be following the narrative and being negative and being ignorant and being disrespectful, because that's what you've been taught. That's what you've been programmed to believe. That's not in your real nature. That's what was passed down to you. So I'm saying all this to say it's very, 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 very important for us to think for ourselves and move upon those different thoughts that we have for ourselves, so we can be liberated and free within our own life. You would never see a white man care about what a Chinese man think about him when it comes to his salvation. You would never see a Chinese man care about what an Indian man think about him when it comes to his salvation. But Black people, we care about what everybody else think, except the thoughts we have that's for our own salvation. It don't make sense. We claim we want to be free. We want to be free, but when somebody thinking different, or somebody got a solution for us, or somebody come with an idea that's best for us, we don't want to move upon that different ideal, or that different thought process that can help us achieve liberation and freedom. It ain't the physical shackles that's around you that's keeping you stuck. It's what's in here that's keeping you stuck. And if you don't change this thinking, you will never be able to be free. You will never be able to be sovereign. You will never be able to move in a way that's autonomous and towards your mind liberation, your soul liberation, and ultimately your physical liberation. You know what I'm saying? We have to think in ways that's best for our salvation, that's best for us, what makes sense to us, and move upon that. Because if that ain't your mentality, listen, you got a long life ahead of you, boy. And see, the thing about the Black man or the African, it's like the reason we be confused as well, because we are the original people. We are the first people. We've been here on this planet for millions of years. That's why we have an identity crisis. For real. Because we've been here for so long. When you think about it, it's like, how can you identify a people who are original to the planet? You know what I'm saying? So that's where all the fighting. We not African, we Moors, we Hebrews, we the original this, we Nubians, we this, we that, which we are Nubians, you know what I mean? The first name, the original name for Africa was Nubia. But at the same time, it's like We've been here for millions of years. We are the first people, the original people. That's where the confusion come in at. And the thing about us as black people, we think because we was taught a certain thing about ourselves that we can't resonate with other things about ourselves. We think we gotta like I'm foundational Black American. I'm American, foundational Black American, but that doesn't mean I don't have Egyptian lineage. That don't mean that I don't have Egyptian lineage. That don't mean that some of my lineage don't come from Africa. So what I'm basically saying is we've been here for millions of years. How do you identify the original organism or the original specimen or the original pigmentation that was on this planet? How do you identify it realistically? You see what I'm saying? So all this debate about who we are, man, listen, y'all be debating our whole life about who we are. The most important part is we gotta identify what we working with now and move forward upon this identifier so we can get leverage in the system we in, or so we can just have leverage in the world. Because all this identity politics and things of that nature is what's holding us back. White people, white people, they can agree on any and everything because they know they come from nothing. They know, like, he ain't got no culture, so he agree on anything. He say, okay, black people were the original Jews. We the Jews now. And they claim to be Jews and they start running with it because they have no culture. So anything that gives them a little bit of culture, they hold on to it and running with it. Us, we got so much culture. We got so much culture, and we can't agree on anything, even though all those cultures are us. We slow. We are slow. We be acting so slow. I don't be understand. Like I don't be understanding this, man. Like we be having all this information and still want to be divisive and argumentative and da 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 like an echo chamber. I be like, these guys really don't want to be free. Because if they did, they wouldn't worry about consuming shit, or they wouldn't worry about harboring things in their mind that make them divisive. It's crazy. Y'all better realize the what's going on out here, man. Peace. Thank y'all for watching the Original Guys Worldwide TV podcast. Kingmaly, I'm out. Peace.